Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Chilling with the Cooler. That is, of course, me. I'm Owen, and my title that I was given is The Cooler. And it's just kind of stuck now because we all know that I'm incredibly unlucky. And yeah, so we're here for another episode of Chilling with the Cooler where we just hang out and I answer questions about pretty much anything. Most of them end up being tabletop related, as well as going over any comments from the past week. But unfortunately, there's not really any videos that I put up this past week, and nothing really to comment on. Now, just as you can see in the title here, and I'm going to say this right off the bat, so anyone who's watching this in post will know without having to watch the whole video. The reason there's been less videos is I'm going through a bit of an upheaval in my life at the moment. Next week, there won't be a Chilling with the Cooler, and there probably won't be for a couple weeks after this. I'm actually moving out west to Alberta, and I'm not able to take all of my equipment with me. And so there's going to be a few weeks hiatus as I get myself settled in and started at my new job, and basically I'm doing that. So what that means is that there'll be this episode today, and then there's going to be a Gaming with the Cooler on Wednesday. And then there's going to be a couple weeks where I'm going to keep trying to post stuff on Facebook. Like I'll do articles or something like that. And I'll see what I can do as far as maybe getting a blog set up or something just to talk about War Machine stuff. And I'll, of course, give you guys notice as to where that ends up. But unfortunately, the videos will kind of be dead for a few weeks, depending if I can get my internet set up right away or if I can make any kind of half-decent video off of my laptop. It's not a good laptop, so I don't know. But anyway, that's what's going on with me. That was the special announcement that there will be a break from Gaming with the Cooler, the channel, while I try and get myself set up out west. And that's what's going on. Other than that, like I said, this episode and the Gaming with the Cooler on Wednesday are going to be just like every other one. Going to sit here and answer any questions that are in the comments. And we got a couple people watching, so that's cool. And I'm going to just adjust that a little bit so I can read the comments as they come up. So first thing, we've got Mad OSX asking, what do I need to start an army with aesthetic Naresh? Naresh is not the easiest to play. He's not exactly the best of the best in Scorn. He has a lot of weird dynamics, like how you want to hit him to get him to do more damage and be tougher. So usually what you want to do is you want to have your pain givers just smack him a few times because they have anatomical precision, so they'll always do 1 damage. So it's reliably buffs your stats. The only problem is they have such bad mats that it's very, like, it's not reliable. But what do you need to start an army with him? Well, first off, you need the staples of a Scorn army. So you're going to want to get a Bronze back, you're going to want to get a Titan Gladiator, and there you go. And then after that, you're going to get the Beast Handlers, you're going to get a Kriya, and you're going to get probably Nihilators. They're my favorite with him. You put Iron Flesh on them, and then give them press forward, and they just walk 7 inches? 7 or 8 inches. And then they've got tough, death-like 16, and there you go, and reach and berserk. There you go. That's what I would recommend to go off with. That's like a 25, 35 point list. You have like Bronze back, Gladiator, Kriya, full pain givers, full Nihilators, and a Tyrant Commander, and standard. And there you go. Now you've got an army. So that's what I would recommend. John Austin, did you buy Space Hulk? No, I did not buy Space Hulk, because unfortunately I'm not going to be able to bring any of my stuff with me. So I've just got a little bag basically that I'm taking with me to go to my new apartment and start working right away when I get there. And I leave next Sunday. So I didn't buy anything, and I dropped out of the Mini Wargaming War Machine League because I'm not going to be around. So you're going to see more videos of me in the league. But I won't be there. I won't be scored in the end because I'm not going to take away prizes from someone who's local and can actually use whatever prize they get. And that's how it goes. Luke how did the new Nagash models do in your recent building and gaming event? Well, it was actually pretty good. I did comment on this in the video last Wednesday about how it went. It was they're pretty solid. They have exactly the problems that I expected them to have. Basically, if you have a cannon, they're terrified. But Nagash's ability to just drop down horde units and like a Terrorgeist every turn is really good. And storing power dice and like the re-rolls, because we had all of them in it. So basically he would roll the 2 dice for the power magic dice and then re-roll one of them, and then he could store them, and then he could also turn them into attacks with the one guy, and the other guy could sacrifice his attacks to get more, and Nagash could keep some. And it was just like a lot of power dice on his side of the board all the time. Now, he does run into the problem in that he is level 5, which is really cool, but I tried to make a point of it saying, as a level 5 wizard, like that's not a big achievement. It's not hard to get a level 5 wizard in fantasy. It's really good, don't get me wrong. It's just it's not a game changer on the grounds that 70 more points and anyone can be level 5. You just bring the channeling staff, the +1 to casting and dispelling, and you're effectively a level 5 wizard. You don't have all the spells, you don't get the 5th spell. But some factions have like Lore Master, and so it's like, okay, I've got such and such staff and the Lore Master this, so I'm basically a super level 5 wizard. I mean, they're expensive as hell when you start bringing these guys, but Nagash is 1,000 points, so yeah. And he's pretty good at melee. The downside for him, and he's not as good as a Bloodthirster when teamed up with the Chaos Sorcerer. The two of them just kind of murdered him, and that was how the game ended, because we had all agreed that we had to try and kill Nagash, assuming he didn't die from like a miscast, which he could ignore, re-roll it rather, not ignore. Not as good as Teclis, but yeah. So that was how Nagash did at the event. They are very good. They're cannon bait, and they're moderately okay wizards. If you have the models, the Lore of Undeath is really good. That's what I have to say. Kess, aesthetically, which fantasy armies are your favorite and least favorite looking? Favorite and least favorite looking. Well, my favorite army aesthetically is the Skaven. Everything in their army 100% fits in with their lore, each other, the vibe that the rats are trying to pull off there. Like the Doom Wheel is just hilarious. I mean, that is like Skaven personified in one weapon. It randomly moves, it shoots lightning every direction, hitting friends and foes, and it's powered by rats running in a wheel. I mean, that's exactly what you want to have in. I mean, I know it's a joke in like, aha, there's rats running in a Doom Wheel or in a wheel. But it absolutely fits in their game or in their army. My least favorite looking aesthetically would probably be. It's not Beastmen. I know a lot of people would think that, but no, Beastmen are like the Skaven. They totally fit with what they're trying to do. I mean, this is of course personal preference. So I'm not saying like Skaven are the best looking, because a lot of people will be like, I like this army, I like that army. I'm just saying like consistency within their own aesthetics. They are my favorite. Probably my least favorite would be the Empire. Only because I don't like pantaloons. That's basically the whole reason. And that's just, like I said, it's personal preference. Yeah, I'm using stupid terms that defend me from people who disagree with me. Fuck you guys. You can agree or disagree or whatever. This is my opinion, and that's what I believe. Therefore, it is true. So it comes down to this. You have already robbed the local banks dry, so you're going to try your luck elsewhere. Effectively, yes. But, yeah, no, I'm pretty excited. Going to be on my way. Had a going away type deal last night. Did not get up early enough to really set this up the way I wanted. This camera is a piece of shit, and I'm going to be buying a new one when I get myself set up again out west. I'm sick of it. Like, you watch this video, right? And you see it like, and the color shift and stuff. Like, nothing is changing in here. My light doesn't flicker. Like, look, it just got brighter, and it just readjusted. For no reason. What are you going to do? You going to do it again? It's because my arms are too white. If they're like this, it goes orange. But if they're like this, it gets bright. It gets darker. I don't understand it. I mean, I do, but whatever. Also, I'm remaking Harbinger. She lost her wings. She lost her cape. Now she's a little person. The best part is that she's like not even a legal model anymore because she's no longer 50% of the original model. She still has her equipment and she's going to get her wings back again. Originally, I was going to give her these wings that I picked up, but they're gigantic and do not fit on her at all. Cool looking, but way too big. So they're going to go to Vindictus because little Vinny needs to get some wings. He's killed a lot of stuff, and I basically want to give him some. Come on, guys. You got to answer comments. Comments. Get in there. If you have something to say, now's the time to say it. Because this is the last week for gaming with the cooler, or chilling with the cooler, effectively. So, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Oh, also, this evening, I do say this evening, I'm going to be on Menoth John's Painting with Menoth John. It's on Twitch, and I'll, of course, post a link on the Facebook page to get you over there. That'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 7 p.m. Central Time? PDT? I don't know. Either way, it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, so it's in 5 hours. 5 hours I'll be on there. And I'll be on there for about an hour. And we're going to paint and chat and do what we do. I'm basically going to... If my Harbinger's not built and ready to go by then, I'll be working on her. Get her wings back. Like so. What phone do you have? Yeah, it is going off. I have an iPhone. The iPhone 4S. It's because I keep getting emails. That's what happens when I'm at home, because it automatically connects to my Wi-Fi, which means that it keeps looking for it. So, yeah. Billing? No? Alright. I was out of ideas. So good luck in Alberta. Yeah, that's basically how it's going. Not a lot to talk about this week. All right, what else we got to talk about? War Machine stuff. Making videos about War Machines. So 2 a.m. CEST. Yeah, basically. So what's happening with your stuff when you move? I'm going to be leaving it with my mom. I'm wrapping it up and putting them all in little boxes, and I'm just going to be leaving it here, basically. I will be coming back for it once I've got myself established, or I might see if she'll just ship it out to me. Because I found out that there is actually a gaming club in the city that I'm going to. So I figure one day I'm just going to show up and start playing War Machine. And obviously crush the local meta, because whenever you get that guy who comes from elsewhere, they always seem to have a weird advantage because no one knows how to deal with what they do. And also, not to blow sunshine up my own ass, it's I'm pretty good at this game. I've got War Machine pretty figured out. I got Menoth figured out. The other factions, I got a pretty solid understanding. Most of them are in relation to Menoth because I haven't played all of them against all of them, but I have played Menoth against all of them and all of them against something. So often, like, I have noticed, and I do recognize it, that often my opinion of certain things skews based on how hard my own faction counters them. For example, like, I don't find Butcher 3 that much of a threat. Like, I can see it, and I can see why he's so scary, but Menoth has a lot of answers to him, and so he doesn't inherently, like, bother me. For example, the Covenant of Menoth just shuts Butcher down. Like, his ability to function, it just goes right down the shitter. And you just drop that list. Like, oh, you're playing against Khador. I'm going to bring Harbinger, Maddie Corbo, Errant's Book, Rupert, Avatar, Crusader, or sorry, Vanquisher, Vassal, Choir. Bam. Now you've got all kinds of stuff. Have you ever considered doing army building videos for War Machine and Fantasy to make power lists? War Machine, it's a lot harder to do. War Machine, because one, I'm a big fan of breaking the meta here. I really don't like internet list picking. which is not what that's called, but I hope someone out there in the comments can fix what I'm saying here. It's essentially the idea is like the meat mountain, where some guy in a tournament level who has a vastly different understanding of the game, maybe more, maybe better, but different, played it and it did very well for him, and then everyone jumps on the bandwagon and tries it out, and then you go, oh yeah, but it's bad, it's like hard countered in my meta, therefore it doesn't work. And that's basically how it goes. I mean, a lot of people do that. They jump on these bandwagons and they try them in their local metas, and they don't always work because, while they are good lists usually, and someone didn't necessarily think of them, often they are usually skewer lists, like Ayanobo, Ayanoyabao, Ain said, and Ayanoyabao. That's the best I got. Basically, they're usually skewer. Like, look at the meat mountain. That's all that is. It's just warders, big heavy stuff. Sit there on a brick together, try and live. What are other lists that got really popular? Haley Double Stormwall. Now it's Haley Mercs. Menoth have their own. I don't even know what the Menoth ones are anymore because I don't even remotely follow them. Like, I'm actively trying to make Sevi Double Judicator like one of those though. So at the same time, I'll be like, no, I don't follow that. I'm the hipster of list building, but I do want my stuff to catch on because I wholeheartedly advocate playing as the Sevi Double Judy list because it does work. It is a very effective list. You have to go. Like, you can't sit around and fuck around waiting to decide how you're going to do your turn. Because remember, tournaments run death clocks. And when you're firing 12 AoE 3s, a lot of time is spent like deviates. So you need to be able to play quickly. And quickly, like, that guy. Like, it's almost to the point where, if, for example, you get caught in that point where your opponent's like, you got 2, and you're like, I got 3, and he goes, no, man, it's pretty cool. Just say, fuck it, I got 2, because you'll benefit more just from the extra 50 seconds that you didn't spend arguing about it and killing those 2 guys, and then just shooting again and killing the other guy. That's my advice, by the way. If you ever get into a disagreement about little things like that, unless it's a game-changing one, like let's say, for example, it deviated and it may or may not hit Iris or something like that, you should spend the time for that. But if it's just like random jack-offs, just let them have it. I mean, if your whole strategy depends on getting that one extra guy who is like fractions of millimeters out, then you're not doing it right anyway. I mean, you should be able to just obliterate or not, or use your army efficiently or not. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Anyway, get back on topic here as I've rambled on about other stuff. Yes, I have thought about making fantasy power lists. Fantasy power lists are harder to make because idiots make their own rules up in fantasy a lot more than War Machine players do. For example, you can't... No bringing Banner of the World Dragon. Or your units can only be double the previous unit size. So for example, if you have a 1500 point unit, you have to have a 750 point unit and a 375 point unit and a whatever. And then it goes down from there. And that's basically how it goes. And then there'll be, we don't allow Witch Elves, or we don't allow... level 5 mages, or we don't allow this, or we don't allow named characters, or we don't allow that, or we don't allow that, and it makes it basically impossible to try and do it. And so it basically, you run into this problem. Like, it literally hit me pretty smart on, because I don't usually comment on forums. Every now and then I creep around in the War Machine forum, and I creep around in the Bell of Lost Souls commentary, and I like to watch the posts on some of the Facebook groups. I do comment on those pretty often though, or in the Mini Wargamings forums for all of the games. And one day, for whatever reason, I was sitting there and some guy asked for help on how to build a High Elf army because he listed the models he had, and I went, here, bring this, and I wrote out a new list that involved Banner of the World Dragon, Death Star, Light Cannon, Like all of the things that I dislike to fight against and I like to use with my high elves. And he's like, well, thank you very much for your input. But unfortunately, in my meta, we can't do that and this and this and that and this and that and that. And he's like, what do you think other than that? And I just went, oh, I can't make a list if you have special rules because you're not playing the game anymore. You're playing your own version of the game. So I don't play your version, so I can't tell you what is good and what's not because I don't know what you allow or don't allow, and I'd have to play the entire game again against all the things again, taking out what everyone lost or gained, and then try and figure out where the balance now lays. Like there is a balance. It's not an even balance. Like there are better and worse and skews in different directions, but there is a balance. It exists. It's usually not well done because like GW sucks the big one when it comes to trying to make balanced games. Apparently, like they just don't seem to give a shit. But I think it's more how they write the rules than the factions themselves. For example, 40k, I don't find that the factions themselves are broken. I find that the way the rules work are broken. And if they spent the time to clean up the rule book and make everything very precise and there was like little to no randomness involved in how the game was played, as far as the actual mechanic of the game, or sorry, as far as the actual like style of the game, you'd be a lot better off. Like if you just took away seize the initiative, roll to decide the outcome of a rule, roll to decide the activation order, like if you took away all that stuff and just put it down to like everything happens precisely, you'll still have an unbalanced game. I mean, some things will just be better than other things, and that's not a bad thing. It's like it's balanced imbalance. I think is one of the video games use it. For example, like the way you watch War Machine go with the Miserable Meat Mountain is exactly how you see League of Legends characters get brought out, where they come out and they are intentionally a little bit better than the other characters because they're brought in as a counter to something that already is really powerful in the meta. And then they make this new guy who comes out, or they modify it in an update, how strong another character is that turns out he's a bit stronger than everyone and is a direct counter to that guy. And so the whole game has to change because people fell into all those traps, and it stays fresh and interesting as you have to shift to new characters and back and forth. Now, it messes up sometimes. Like, obviously, there are characters that they go too far. Harbinger, E. Gaspy, E. Haley. These characters, they went a little bit too far in one direction when they tried to change up how the game was playing, and now they've had to nerf them back, especially Gaspy 2 had to get nerfed like 5 times. And now they've made sure in the future as they make these new characters that they do have like a glaring weakness or there's something that you can get at them with that they can't stand up to very well. And I think that's really good. And you do see it in these other games. Unfortunately, GW doesn't have a very good rule book and then does this same thing, but doesn't do it like they're finally doing it now, where they update on a fast enough timetable that it wouldn't be impossible for them to do this sort of balancing, where they could do updates and changes on the codexes on almost a yearly to bi-yearly, every 2 years, whatever the term is for that. And they could actually play the game where the balance actually skews back and forth all the time. And that like some factions will go into favor and some lists will go into favor and then they'll drop out of favor. And then, like, I don't think factions should drop out of favor, but I certainly think that the way the list works should change. And unfortunately, GW also falls into the trap that the way GW works is the armies are deciding how the gameplay works. Whereas in War Machine, they're not. And in a lot of other games, they're not. Like, a lot of people ask, like, oh, why do you not like 40k? And fundamental reasons are the rulebook is poorly written, and they're balanced based on army as opposed to list. Like, it's hard to make a Tau melee list. You won't win against another melee list, and it's almost impossible just for points to do it. In the same sense that making like an orc shooty list, it's become a lot easier, but for the longest time it was certainly not. Same with Tyranids. They used to be just melee. Now they're getting a little bit better as they're starting to bring it back, but unfortunately they went too far now, and now you've got like, for a while there before the orcs got the new book, it was literally just like bring Ludas and win, or die. Like there was no middle ground. Space Marines were the only ones that had anything resembling a good way to build an army list, because you could literally do any role. They're like, oh, they're the jack of all trades, master of none. Every list should be the jack of all trades, master of none, just skewing in different directions. Like, you can do, or they do it different ways. It's the same way with like a Menoth melee list and a Khador melee list. They're both effective melee lists, but they do it in a different fashion. Like Menoth do it in Weapon Master and High Mat and Cheap Dudes, or Cheap Dudes, sorry. And then Khador does it with high armor, durability, cheap guys, or fast, light, and whatever. They don't play the same way. They have gang and stuff in Khador and a lot of combined melee and a lot of mini feats and UAs and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, Menoth has them too. But Menoth looks more at stuff like Weapon Master and Blessed and stuff like that. So we both have a way of playing melee. And then we both have ranged. I mean, Khador has a lot of long-range infantry shooting guns, and Menoth has a lot of powerful jacks that have a lot of good shots, or we have a lot of just carpet bombing AoEs. And that's the way the lists play. Same with Cygnar, does a lot of melee Electro Leap, and they've got a lot of movement shenanigans to get them in and out. Same with Circle, but they can also do a ranged thing with magic or whatever. Anyway, that's the big issue I have with that. I don't even know where this started. Oh yeah, building power lists. So yes, I have thought about it a little bit. Kess, Owen, can't remember it exactly, but you said a while back about Chaos and 40k being crap. I just wanted to say I agree. I much prefer them in fantasy as they seem to fit the style better in my opinion. Yeah, the fantasy Chaos is the better Chaos. I mean, that's... I would almost go so far as to say it's like not even arguable, but I guess people have their own opinions about how it works. It just seems silly to me to even try and say otherwise, because the Chaos in fantasy are exactly what you would want Chaos to be. They're big barbarians that they just want to mess stuff up, and the lore is just about them being amazing and crazy. Like they're and they've got the big, like the Norse, like they're Vikings. They're Vikings that are just man killers, and they like drink like blood milk mixed beer, and like they've got all the crazy stuff that you'd want them to be. And then you look at Chaos in 40k and they're like, yeah, we're evil, we're bad, we've got the spiky armor, it makes us evil because we kill people. Ooh, idiots. They literally just kill for the same reasons the Imperium, or sorry, they kill as much as the Imperium does, and even in easier ways than the Imperium does, only for a different cause. They're not really like Chaos, they're just like other Imperium. Only they put spiky bits and like, haha, we're the bad guys. And the Imperium's like, oh, we're the good, nuke that planet and crucify that person. Like, you're also evil. Only you don't have that dichotomy. Oh god, how has that word gotten into my vocabulary? Trying to see if I can spit it out. Not use it anymore. You don't have that comparison between the Empire and the Norskins or the hordes of Chaos. I know the Empire's also crazy with its witch hunts and stuff like that, and they're relatively evil as well. But they're generally good. Like, they are actually a generally good society. Like, they want to help each other out, and they're afraid of mutation and witchcraft, which they have a full reason to be. And sometimes their methods are crazy, but on a whole, they're just generally looking out for each other and trying to keep their stuff alive. They have the infighting and all that, because everyone likes to write Game of Thrones, which has been, spoiler alert, been doing it for years. Lots and lots of books have infighting between houses, and lots of characters get killed in a lot of things. It wasn't the first one to do it. I don't know why people are like, holy shit, he kills major characters. Just read more. Seriously. Ramblin' day. More of a story is, yes, Fantasy Chaos is better. I'm glad you agree. Also, they don't have Abaddon or Phalbadon the Armless. Instead, you get Archaon, who actually is getting work done and went on quests and did crazy stuff to become the leader. Jim, Owen, is your new job a reason to celebrate? Namely, is it full-time? Yeah, one of the 3 jobs offers that I have, actually 2 of them, are full-time positions. Most likely I'm going to be doing carpentry, which I'm actually really excited for. I've always been a big fan of building stuff. Oh, somebody's messaging. Oh, Eugene Held. I can finally watch you live from Germany, but can't post comments. Now, it's the last show for weeks? No. Ah, that sucks. Poor guys in Germany. I don't know what it is about YouTube not liking Germany. Who was it that blocked all of Germany's IP? Does anyone remember that? There's some group, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was. Somebody blocked all of Germany. And I'm like, oh, okay. It was weird. It's probably one of those blogging or Tumblr or something. I don't know. Some of that stupid stuff that goes on the internet. But, yeah, so that's my opinions of Fantasy and 40K pretty much summed up for like the 90 billionth time. That said, a lot of people watch these videos that hadn't seen them before. So, I mean, for those of you who have heard me talk about this again and again, well, I'm going to reinforce my own opinion. And for those of you who haven't heard me talk about this before, well, fucking here I am talking about this again. No, we don't have very many people watching today. That's unfortunate for those not watching, because this is the last one for a while. So if you were waiting, well, actually, they probably just didn't know because I didn't put this up last night, which I should have. Should have told everyone last night that this was going to happen. If you give people an hour notice, not a lot actually gets done. Which is a downer. It's really hot in here. I don't have my fan on. Should turn it on. Also, I'm not really looking forward to the cold. I'm not going to lie. I know there's a lot of stereotypes about Canada and like it being cold, and it does get kind of cold. But there's been snow up there already, like 6 inches of it. For those of you who live in America, that's like this much. Or sorry, for those of you who live in the rest of the world that doesn't use inches, even though we were all just talking about like Warhammer, which still uses it. I don't know if I could play it if it played with the metric system. Can you imagine, like, instead of moving 6 inches, you move, like, 12.5 centimeters or something like that? It's more than that, I know, but whatever. Let's say 12 centimeters. Like, that would just be weird. I don't know if I could do it. And yet, that's how actual business runs now. In that, like, if you work in, like, a construction job or if you're, like, a welder, you get numbers in millimeters. And that's because it's a more precise and better way of doing it. You ever watch that thing about, or see that graph where it's like inches to feet to yards to whatever, and like the amount of each one in the next section, and like miles is just like boom, like crazy high, whereas metric it's just 100 all across the board, every 100 of whatever, or every 10, sorry, depending on how far into it. Like if you're gonna use like deca numbers, which not everyone uses anymore, it's like milli, centa, just meter and kilometer, because you know that same way of measuring works in like everything. Like you don't measure volume of liquids in inches or like another version of inches. I mean, you could say how big it is, but you don't say like it's milliliters. Like that's how it's done. This is actually the case with Lord of the Rings. They give you centimeters and inches. That's weird. Weird. I mean, like I said, it makes sense, but weird. How is your Cygnar coming along? Well, it's going pretty well. Not a lot has changed. I picked up E Striker. I wanted to paint him, and then I was going to post a picture of him. I think I'll paint him this evening. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to go get him. Joke's on you. I'm not standing up. Bam. And because I don't like E Striker's head, he looks like a wanker. This is the head I gave him instead. He's kind of a demon. Are you going to focus, camera? Are we going to do this again? You're not going to focus, are you? Alright, well, you get to see his silhouette. Woo! But anyway, that is Striker. Oh, for a second there, it did focus on him. Oh well. Anyway, the problem is I messed up priming him, so he's got like this like big silver splotch. So he needs to get touched up when I built him. And now I'm too tall. I gotta... And we're back. That's the only addition to my Cygnar. They are on the second shelf from the top, most of that stuff, except for the Riptide, who is right here. We've got like these guys across. I think Ashlyn is right there. And then we got some jacks, which you can't see because it's pretty dark. Originally, I was going to get a light for that corner so you could see all these armies, but now it's... why bother? Because I'm not going to be here in 6 days. Woo! I feel so low to the ground now. I lowered my chair, and now it's like... my feet barely fit underneath me. Like, under my chair. This is exciting. We should have music playing during this. Downside is there's like so many music things that one, it's hard to balance it out where they don't just like drown me out when I'm talking. And two, it's very like hard to get music that isn't paid for. I mean, there's a lot of decent stuff on Incompetech, and I recommend Kevin MacLeod's stuff, which thankfully is royalty free. So all you have to do is provide credit to him, like of course put his name that he made the music. Don't try and steal it. That's a dick move. But not all of it is great. There's a lot of it on there that I don't like. And I've been trying for the longest damn time. Nearly went through the entire list of Incompetech music before I finally just gave up. Trying to find the music that I used to use in the fantasy battle reports that I made. I like how it's also going to get louder and quieter because I'm moving closer and further from the microphone. Which is obnoxious as hell. I've listened to people who do that kind of thing, but they don't do it intentionally. Like, I'm doing it right now, and I'm just kind of, like, fucking with everybody who's trying to listen to this and, like, paint at the same time. So every time they have to, like, turn up, turn down, turn up, turn down. Or they just, like, lean in, lean out, and it just becomes a hard video to listen to. Like, you watch somebody who you can tell they don't make a lot of videos, or they don't recognize that yet. They're pretty new to it. And they'll have audio issues like that are very easy to fix. Like, all it is just have a consistent location for your microphone. But like headsets have that problem where the thing moves and it's a very noticeable change in how loud or how much it picks up your voice, depending on how good your quality headset is. But if you're just starting off, you usually don't have like the be all end all of headphones. Like even this thing. Enjoy that. It's not the greatest of microphones. I mean, it works. I like it. It's a relatively clear microphone. I do need the thing to put in front of it so that you don't get to pick up on my breathing so much. Because usually when I'm doing the videos like that I pre-record in VoiceOver, I hold the microphone like this so that it's very loud and very clear. And nothing ever gets like left out. But unfortunately, you can really hear when I'm breathing. And that's what happens. That's why I think it even was commented on one of my videos where I was talking about making War Machine lists. A series that unfortunately is going to take a hiatus now as well. I think actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to write up a lot of scripts and or just publish the script somewhere as like a blog post somewhere or a forum post or something. Essentially the exact same thing that I would have just said out loud, only instead you'd have to read it. Which is a bummer because I know a lot of people, including myself, are fans of just listening to things in the background while working on stuff. Like even literally a few minutes ago, I was listening to a bunch of people talking about stuff while working on New Harvey. But yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. She needs to get repainted too. Jesus, such a bad paint job. Like, her legs look so much better now because it came off of my Fiora, which was painted better than Harbinger was. So I'm basically going to have to like redo her upper torso. Which isn't bad. Meh. Doesn't take much work. Anyway, what list do you plan to bring with E-Striker? I don't really have the models to run the E-Striker list I want. I just got him because I won a tournament at some time. I don't know. I lost all meaning when you win those tournaments. But, yeah, so what list will I bring with him? Well, I'm going to be bringing my Stormblades, or Stormguard, because his feat is awesome, because it basically gives you 2 extra potential kills, because Electro Leap is good. And I'm also going to bring some melee-centric jacks. Not sure which ones. I'd like to get a Hammersmith or something like that, but I don't have one. And I won't be buying one anytime soon, but that was something that I wanted to add. Old Rowdy, of course. Got to get Old Rowdy. He's a good addition. Keep the gun mages in, just because gun mages are a very good answer to a lot of problems, namely Banelord Tartarus. You can just try and like high dice and kill him, or get some brutal shots. Maybe I'll just bring the Black 13. B13 gets a lot of work done. That Mage Storm that Ryan has, so good. So good. It's like you bring that whole unit just for Mage Storm. You don't, actually. Just so, for those of you who are new, they get a lot of stuff. But Mage Storm's really good. Like, it's really good. Yeah, that's basically it. It would be like Stormguard, Black 13th, a couple Jacks, Squire, of course. Maybe a few Merc solos like Gorman, Iris, Rupert, Journeyman. Maybe I'll Jack Marshall something. Bring what's her name? The new Jack Marshall girlie. And one of the Hunters. I like Hunters. Positive charge on a Hunter is pretty good because you can really get them in there. Like, they're really quick. And especially if he's Jack Marshall. Is positive charge battle group? I don't remember now. I have his card right here. Let's check. I think it is. Nope, it's just friendly faction warjack. There you go. So basically you can like positive charge him and like rush him in. Yeah, Stormclads as well. They're amazing. There's a lot. The Signar has such a good like general list of dudes. None of them are like over the top. Oh man, that's amazing. But they're all very like they're solid. They're just a consistent army. Get a Stormclad or two. They're amazing with Stormblades. Yep, they get that free focus and such. And they can be Jack Marshall to the Stormblades. I don't like, or sorry, not Jack Marshall. No, yeah, Jack Marshall. Not with a Journeyman, but a Jack Marshall. I don't like Jack Marshalls traditionally. I try and avoid them. As I'd rather just give them to a Journeyman. I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it. And it's nice, but it seems to me it's like you're paying a tax, essentially, on your Jack. Unless you're doing something like you specifically want a certain Jack from, like, Mercs. I wouldn't bother, but IMO. So what's the news? Ryan, Gaming with the Cooler is going to be on a bit of a hiatus after this week. As I'm moving out to Alberta and won't have all my equipment to make videos with. So there'll be a little while there where there's not going to be any videos. Probably a month. That's what I'm thinking. It'll probably take me at least a month to start getting my stuff back together. Maybe even 2. I'll try and see what I can make and like actually get uploaded and post. In all likelihood, they're going to just be short like, hey everybody, I'm still here, still plan on doing it. And I'll post links to wherever I'm uploading written content. Because I'm going to have a lot of spare time, seeing as I'm not going to have good internet or all my equipment. So I'm just going to be writing whatever I think of. So like the same idea where I do these like verbal diarrhea of ideas, it'll be a written diarrhea. And I'm glad that that's the metaphor that I decided to go with. But anyway, that's basically what's going to be going on. So there'll be a lot of, wherever I can find a spot, I'll probably do a lot of just blogging. Posting, I guess. Let's do that. Maybe I'll go on the War Machine forums. I don't think I even have an account on the War Machine forums. At one point I was going to make one. No, I do actually. That's not true. I know I have one. I used it for when that one guy got upset when I got distracted because I just got a message from Eugene, one of the guys who's trying to watch this stream right now. But unfortunately for him, it doesn't work in his country. And so he asked if I'm bringing my wargaming stuff to Alberta with me at all. No, I'm not. And in the future, I will be getting them back, but I'm not taking it with me as I go. I commented on your one video with the name of the song used in the fantasy reports called Sky Cullen. Oh, there you go. I don't know how I missed that. Because I was looking for it. I literally sat here and I went through and like listened to it. I'm going to get it right now. In comp attack. Royalty free music. Sky. Bam! Nailed it. Is this not fantasy music? This is totally fantasy music. This is like super fantasy music. Which is exactly why I had used it making fantasy battle reports. Because it just totally like works. I went through all the songs to find it over a year ago because I liked it and I figured it was from Incompetech. Yeah, it was certainly from Incompetech. And I did like it too. I mean, this is totally fantasy. At least in my opinion. It's got a very like Bretonnia / Wood Elves / Empire. Like those three like inner factions. It's got a like the landlocked old world. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I like it. What is it listed as? Harp, whistle, fiddle, synths, strings, choir. Adagio. Somewhat slow. It's Celtic and folk from the world. Which, I mean, it fits as a Celtic kind of thing. Alright, I'll stop this now. Look at that. It just gets in your head. Oh, man. It's good. It's good. I like it. I like it. But, yeah. So so far, I've been thinking of seeing if I can pack up, like, even 15 points of Menoth in a little box and put it at the bottom of my suitcase kind of thing. So whenever I have a day off, I can try and mosey my way down. Because I'm not bringing my car either. Like, I'm selling my car if everything... And one other thing, there's a little bit of a grain of salt to take with this, because so far everything is working out to go out west, but it's entirely possible that I get there and everything just falls apart, in which case I'm flying home and then I'm going right back to what I'm doing now. Or at least I'll be doing whatever I can, I guess. So yeah, that is a possibility. And yes, it does mean that I'm dropping out of the Mini Wargaming League. I did bring this up already, but I'll say it again, because I know people come and go. I've already dropped out, actually. I emailed them and let them know. For the record, though, you guys, and hopefully the Mini Wargaming League doesn't get mad at me, or Ash and Joel, but they're like on episode like 35. I know they've only posted up to 12, but you'll see me more in the league for the next couple weeks, if not months, as they continue to catch up. Like I played a lot of games. I did pretty well. But at the end, I was doing very well in the league, and I decided, you know what, I'm not even going to be able to benefit from whatever winnings I may get, so I'm just going to, don't worry about me, give whatever place I would have gotten to someone else. And I think I've been passed already, so we're good. It's all good, man. But, yeah, I am dropping out of that. But yeah, I'm going to see if I can take a few points of mine and just show up at the local meta and be like, I haven't played War Machine. I have the battle box. Only the battle box is just Reckoner's Choir and Harbinger. The super battle box. It's like, what, 16, 11 points? That's a battle box game. Harby 2 Reckoners. Bam! Because custom battle boxes are 11 points. My friend David, he went to a tournament this past weekend, and he actually won. I was surprised, but hey. Battle box tournament. I didn't realize that was the case. But I'm kidding. He's learning. He's not terrible, but he's learning. He's at that like figuring out, finally getting past basic mechanics and getting into list building, which is like the first step of when you join these games. The first one you do is figure out the basic mechanics of the game. Then the second thing you do is how to actually like build a list that at the best or the most efficiently uses those mechanics. And then that's a long process of figuring that one out. And then once you're past that point, you start like, you mimic, during that time, you're usually mimicking big lists. Like, for example, the Miserable Meat Mountain and all that kind of stuff. Because you want to see how they make the mechanics fit together. And then you copy that, or you ask for a lot of help. And that's all, this is a good thing to do. That's what you do when you're at that point in the game. And then once you're finally past that point, you just start making shit up. Like, oh, this will work. No one will expect me to bring 16 lights. And then it does work, and everyone is like, I don't know how to handle that, and you win. And that's basically gone full circle. But I recommend having a very good understanding of the rules and like the mechanics and what your models can and can't achieve and how to achieve things before you start doing like crazy skew stuff. In my opinion. Do whatever the hell you want. That's my advice. If you like to win. If you don't care about winning or losing and you're just doing it for funsies, first, why are you watching my show? Because that's totally not what we talk about here. And two, yeah, do whatever you want. Anyone else getting an error occurred message repeatedly? I'm not. I've had the stream going for myself, like I play it while I'm doing this, and I haven't gotten that. Last chance for a question. How do you beat the fucking Khador Winterguard Death Star with Cygnar? How do you beat the Khador Winterguard Death Star? Alright, so this is how you do it. You can pick it apart using a couple different guys. I recommend using P. Haley, because then they all get minus defense when you have Temporal Barrier up. Next, you can use a collection of different guys to do it. I recommend Gun Mages, because Gun Mages, P. Haley, her feet, you'll kill the whole star. They'll have tough, which is an unfortunate thing, but that's how it is. Basically, you go, okay, I give Guided Hand to my Gun Mages, I do Temporal Barrier, and I feet. The first wave of Gun Mage shots, they do Snipes or Brutals, depending on how far away the Winterguard are. Winterguard, assuming they have Iron Flesh and Bob and Weave, so their defense like 17, they go down to 15. You're at 9, because you aimed. Or even if you're not, you're at 7. You're looking for 8s to hit, or 9s to hit. I don't remember exactly what it is. But you've got 3 dice to hit on the first shot, so all 7 of your Gun Mages, because you have the UA, basically kill 7 dudes, or at least make them have to do tough checks. And then the second round of shots, you finish off the guys who successfully toughed, and then you have a defender go blam blam and kill more. And that's how you do. At that point, it's crippled beyond use, and you've spent your feet, and you spent, I think, 8 points in Gun Mages to kill it. Or Black 13th. Black 13th can almost do it alone, because Arcane Storm, Mage Storm, is really, really good. That one varies depending on situation, though, so take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, so that's how I would do it. Other than that, you could do other things like bring Cyclones and do covering fire and just prevent them from able to be used effectively. You could bring the Storm Wall and jump stuff on them. You could do stuff that has Electro Leap and kill them with that. There are a lot of options. It's not easy. Like the Winterguard Death Star is just a known trick. It's no different than the Errant Wall with Defender's Ward, no knockdown, tough. They're just another obnoxious as hell thing that you have to deal with. But there are ways to deal with it. There are plenty of ways to deal with it. And these are only the ones that I came up with off the top of my head because they're the things I'm most familiar with. And I'm sure you'll be able to find more. Try that out, though. Try using Haley, Gun Mages. If that doesn't work, try the Black 13th. If that doesn't work, try Cyclones. If that doesn't work, try again. And then if it still doesn't work, try something different. Do E. Haley and bring Alexia and Time Bomb Risen in the middle of the bobbing and weaving guys. And you just obliterate them. It works. No one else is getting the error message. Well, that's good. The comments actually work. Also great. Oh, and do you play any sports? Currently, I'm not in any kind of sports leagues. I used to play a lot of sports, but work and life and such has kind of prevented it. I was going to join a soccer league this year, but I didn't end up doing it for reasons. Yeah, it was work and everything. Too much stuff was in the way, and I wasn't able to actually do it. Which is a bummer, but hey. What am I looking for? One, we're coming to the end of this show, because it is an hour-long show, as we all are aware. That's what I want to talk about. Arcade. Remember that MMO? Well, oh my god. It's just been a disaster. For anyone who's been trying to play it, I'm sure you've noticed that the servers are getting fucking jammed, because so many people are trying to play this game, which is for good reason. I mean, the game's great. It's a lot of fun. But they've been doing a pretty piss poor job at trying to like recover, but they are finally adding new servers on. Disappointing as hell for me is that I'm on a server now with my character who's almost level 40, and no one else is allowed to make characters on that server. So I guess we're gonna have to change servers for our guild. But that even being said, seeing as I'm going away, I'm not taking my my supercomputer. Speaking of which, this is what it looks like. It's pretty big. And also, that is a pillow sitting in that drawer. I have no idea why it's there. Mostly reasons. Because fucking reasons. Are you gonna work with me, camera? You're gonna be a dick about this? You're gonna be a dick about this, aren't you? That camera's really hot, too. Holy crap. I reached out and touched that. It was like grabbing a light bulb. So not like, oh god, I need to let go, but one of those like... Look at it, it's not even focusing. Wake up! Whatever. Show's nearly over. We'll just leave them as is. But yeah, so I won't be able to jump onto the arcade and join up. So what I would like, this is my dream, hope, whatevs. While I'm gone, we're still going to be, of course, talking over Facebook. I'm, of course, going to be keep commenting on the group, keep posting pictures, keep updating what's going on. And once I have a location that I'm going to be writing stuff for, I'll let you guys know where that is. Once again, this is probably going to be through Facebook because I don't know if I'll be able to notify anyone via YouTube. But I'll certainly try if I can. Maybe I'll even just do a text video. Those don't take up very much like bandwidth / processing power. So it might be just a video of like, hey, you should come to this place. Link below. Boop, boop, boop. And there'll be a link to get you over to wherever it is that I'm writing stuff. For all of you people who subscribe on here, then you can find out where that is. Wherever I may do that. And then there'll be all kinds of stuff that I'll talk about. Whatever basically comes to mind. And there you go. Look, you did it. You stupid bastard. Fucking camera. But, yeah. That's effectively how that goes. So, we're nearing the end of the show. And once again, we're not getting any comments. So, we're going to end it. And I am glad that you guys have come out. So, hopefully, those of you who are watching are going to be willing to hold out for the next few weeks as I get myself sorted out so I can continue making videos for everybody. Because I certainly will. It's just going to be a little bit of a delay. They will probably come back with a vengeance as well, seeing as I'm going to have time to write up all kinds of stuff and come up with all kinds of ideas for videos and whatnot. Now, the first wave of videos will probably not be any kind of battle reports or gaming videos, as I won't have either of my stuff to do that, and I don't know if I'll even have a location / anyone to play with. But at very least, they will be videos about the games and about the topics and my opinions thereof, as well as any new releases that I can get my hands on. Like I said, there is a hobby shop in the city, so that'll be a good. I'm probably going to do a few shows this week. There will probably be a few live shows. I don't know. It's crazy busy. I mean, this happened really fast over the course of like a few days last week, where it basically was, oh, I'm going to move. I'm going to move. It's going to work. I'm going to move. All right, I'm moving. See you guys. Everybody, I'm leaving. And so now friends and family are like, you're leaving? We got to do stuff like dinner and drinking. Then they all... Yeah. So anyway, I'll do what I can. Hopefully I'll be on. Like I said, later tonight. So in 4 hours, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's going to be a video with Menoth John. He's on Twitch. It's just Twitch/Painting with Menoth John, I think. PWMJ. I think that's what the Twitch is. Give me 1 second. I'll double check. It is nope, it's twitch.tv/Menoth John. So twitch.tv/Menoth John. No spaces. And unfortunately, I can't post a link to that because fucking YouTube. Oh, I know what I can do. I can put it in the description. Bam. All right, there we go. So for those of you who are interested in watching that, I just put a little link in there. That'll be the show with Menoth John tonight. Once again, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's 4 hours from now, whatever time zone you're in. So in 4 hours, that's when the show will be. And I think we're just painting and chatting, and that's all that's really going to be happening in the show. But yeah, I hope you guys come out and watch that. And once again, Wednesday, I'm going to do Gaming with the Cooler. I don't know what we're going to play, but we'll play something. And that's that. And I'll see when see what else I can do. Oh, I'll do a D&D video, because more stuff happened in our D&D group. But Tuesday, we're probably doing another night, so I'll give it another one, and then I'll do a quick video explaining the exploits. More of the story is, turns out when we don't have the gnome there, because he wasn't able to come out that night, our party gets really violent really fast. And I'll explain why when I do that video. So until then, I'll see you guys next time. And this is the last Chilling with the Cooler for a couple weeks. So stay tuned. They will be back. This isn't like a, oh, it's over, it's never going to happen again. No, it's coming back. It's just, there's a little bit of a delay. See you guys.